I'm trying to get some edits done in wrestling. There's an issue I'm dealing with someone from Japan, so I got to correct it. And while doing that, I was listening. I saw a comment from Conquering Thought. It said, "How did I miss this one?" And I'm like, "Miss what?" So I click on it, and it's the one I did about Megan Kelly. And I listened to it. I go back to working on my edits, and then there's really no time. As soon as I say thank you for listening, it immediately, there's no 10-second wait or whatnot after that for the end screen. It goes right to a live broadcast. And I'm like, what happened to my end screen? It's there, but they just chose to skip it. So yeah, just notice that, YouTube. And I'm like, what is this? Because I saw something, and I was like, I don't know if I want to watch it. And that's what it went to. So it says watch live. It's NBC News. Watch live. Multiple people killed after shooting in California bar. All right. It started streaming 89 minutes ago. I have been listening to it for probably 25 to 28 minutes going on this computer clock. So I'm like, all I hear are the two officers that went in and they were killed in the gunfire where they were pronounced dead, I think at the hospital or whatnot. That's all I keep hearing. I hear about how brave they were. I hear about they knew the dangers going in. They try to paint this literally as a 1980s heroic cop movie. I know my risks. I know what to do. I must save those people. I mean, they try to, why did you go in there? I did what any good officer would do. They talk about their family, the who survived, their kid, their wife. They talk about how they were respected in the community. Oh, they eat the asses out of these cops. And I'm not hearing anything on the victims. Nothing. Now, I've only been recording for 2 minutes and 18 seconds. So I'm going to play this and see where they are now. That's what I'm going to do.
Were family. They knew the people at the front door. They knew security. And, you know, again, we say they felt secure in this area. And here, their lives are shattered now. And just the safety of the community, you know, you just have to feel uneasy, even if you didn't know this was unfolding. Waking up this morning and hearing about this, just getting a text from a loved one or a friend saying, this happened last night in Thousand Oaks. And, you know, people are saying, where, you know, the Borderline Bar and Grill. It's just so well known to everyone. And nothing like this has happened.
No, it's a landmark, really, for that community. You know, it's been open for over 25 years.
Oh, okay. It's been over 25. That's the other problem I'm having. They're talking about how the cops went into the most dangerous area. Then they talk about how peaceful and respectful and lovely the community was. And I'm like, what? And it bugs me because I'm thinking for them to do this, it must be I'm being straight up. I'm keeping it real. It must be a whole lot of white people that live there. That's the only way. And honestly, that's all I'm seeing on the screen anyway. That's really all I'm seeing. But, you know, I'm just keeping it real when every time it's about a black person that gets killed somewhere in their neighborhood where there's black people. They talk about the crime rate. They talk about how there's no fathers. They talk about how there's single parents. There's no fathers, single parents. That's code for single mothers on welfare, taking it from the government and ruin. So it's all coded bullshit. And I'm like, this is not fair. It's not right. Talk about the community. These people, they spoke that, you know, they talked about how there could be some empathy of, well, you know, you get that text and it's like this shooting happened. There's people dead. They glossed over that. They glossed over it. And I'm like, come on. It's just, this has to stop. When a shooting happens, you can't just talk about, you can't code everything, and you can't even have a bullhorn. Try being fair. Everyone talks about being bipartisan, but nobody's being, let's just make this up, bisocial. They only talk about one side being good, the other side being bad. Oh man, this father of two, this black person got killed, but think of the neighborhood this person grew up in. Think of how that person grew up in their family. Think of how disadvantaged that they were in the inner city, no matter even it happened in a cul-de-sac of black people. Inner city is code for you poor and fuck you. That's really it. And so in some of mine, if I'm going to talk about rich, well-to-do white people, then most likely I'm going to say the outer city. And it's really hard to even remember to say that because God damn it, I get so sick and tired of the racism and whatnot. And look, it's not right that this has happened. No, a gunman taken, he's dead. Hey, it's 13 dead, including the sergeant and the gunman. Okay, we have no answers except who does the gunman know? Who was he related to? They would do that with someone that's black. They didn't. No, they did that specifically with the Muslim bomber for New York Times Square. When the pipe bombs went off, they made sure to know where this fool lived. They made sure to know who this fool knew, where he went to school, where he used the bathroom, the friends he hung out with, his mom, his dad, his brother. His brother was on the run. They made sure to get as deep as they could in this dude's rectum. But every time there's a white gunman, it's always a lone nut job. And he leaves behind a wonderful family, a wonderful kid or something. Or, well, people never expected him to do anything like this. Even if that thing is to eat people's faces, it doesn't matter. It's not right and it's not fair. And calling people out on this is the one thing that we can do. When they say have a conversation, they don't mean to bring it up and bring it to the forefront. They mean just talk about it in general and then move on. No, this needs to be called out. And it's been going on for a while and others have called it out. Other big, social media have called it out. But we, the little people, we need to call it out. Because we like to spread the word of mouth a lot faster. We aren't going to sit here and just say, come to mine, listen to mine, and let's not talk about anybody else. No. Hey, I'm a little guy, and I think we all need to help. And if I ever became some kind of big fish, I'm still going to say we all need to help. And I'm going to point to people, not just those elites. I'm going to talk and point to the little people that's still trying because they will still need help. And these officers, I'm not saying that they're little people, but we have no idea why they were really there in the first place. We have no idea what was really going on. I was listening to this for a while. There's nothing but the officers are brave, heroic. They are amazing and they do a great service. They knew the dangers. They went in, with their heart on their sleeve. And I'm like, give me a fucking break. For all we know, they just showed up, wanted something to drink, and this broke out. And I'm sure they'll eventually get to that at some point, and we'll learn the truth. And I'm really not really concerned with the truth. I'm concerned with how they're reporting it. Yes, the truth is always important, but my focus on this topic only is how it's being reported, and it needs to be reported better. So if you live in a state where the news, your public news or paid media, which is what it is, paid media, or the Sinclair Company is calling out this stuff wrongfully, call them out on it. Let us, those who are forward thinking, let's do a what about when it comes to them. So when they call out the officers who were killed in gunfire, you say, that's a shame. That's messed up. But what about these people that got killed by officers? What about these people who were minding their own business and got killed by a certain group that officers turned a blind eye to just at that last second? What about this and what about that? Why don't we do our own what about? I don't want to demonize the cops, but at the same time, it's kind of hard not to when all you see for the past 4 years is an average of 800 unarmed people killed, beaten, raped, or forced or said to have committed suicide. All of those things wrapped up, drug overdoses, in the custody of police officer or in the line of sight of police officers. You have all of these years of that, and it goes back decades. It goes back a couple of centuries. We need to do better. And we as a country can't do better if we as a people of this country don't expect and demand better. This is Cedric Kennedy for Comparative Reasoning. Thank you for listening.